HH's shocking 2026 declaration, the 5-point plan that changes everything, Choma rally. For the first time since taking office, President Hakainde Hichilema has publicly framed the 2026 elections as a must-win battle. Speaking in Choma, HH didn't just campaign, he outlined a 5-point message that many see as the blueprint for his second-term strategy. Was this a rally speech or an early declaration of political war? What exactly were the 5 points? And what do they reveal about HH's confidence, concerns, and priorities heading into 2026? Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. Well, it's been quite a week here in southern Africa, hasn't it? The rains have been blessing our fields, families are preparing for the planting season, and as always, the political machinery never stops turning. But today we're covering something that has sent shockwaves across Zambia and beyond. The lead story that has everyone talking. In the heart of southern province, under the scorching January sun, President Hakainde Hichilema stood before thousands in Choma and delivered what many are calling the most audacious political declaration of 2026. A 5-point plan. A blueprint. A manifesto that some say could reshape the nation's trajectory, while others whisper it's nothing more than desperate pre-election theatrics. But here's what makes this moment absolutely electrifying. What happens when a sitting president, midway through his term, looks his people in the eye and essentially says, "Everything you've seen so far, that was just the warm-up"? What does it mean when a leader who came to power promising economic transformation now unveils a 5-point master plan not as a campaign promise, but as a sitting head of state? Is this the bold vision of a reformer who's finally ready to unleash his true agenda? Or is this the calculated move of a politician who sees the 2026 elections looming on the horizon and knows he must do something dramatic to recapture the imagination of a weary electorate? When a president tells a rally crowd that he's about to change everything: agricultural transformation, infrastructure revolution, youth empowerment, debt management, and anti-corruption warfare, are we witnessing genuine leadership or masterful political theater? And here's the question that should keep every Zambian awake tonight. If this 5-point plan is so revolutionary, so essential, so transformative, why are we only hearing about it now? What has been happening for the past few years? And what does this declaration really mean for the future of our nation? Factual foundation. The revelation came to light on January 5, 2026, when President Hakainde Hichilema descended upon Choma, the administrative capital of southern province, for what was billed as a development rally and community engagement session. The event took place at Choma Stadium, where an estimated 15,000 to 20,000 supporters gathered under the blistering midday heat. The rally was part of the president's nationwide tour, a series of engagements that his office has described as accountability meetings with the Zambian people. But seasoned political observers knew something different was brewing. The advance publicity had been unusually aggressive. The UPND machinery had mobilized supporters from across the province. Cabinet ministers had descended on Choma days in advance. The first hint that this would be no ordinary rally came when the president's motorcade arrived nearly 2 hours late. A delay his spokesperson later attributed to consultations with traditional leaders in the district. When HH finally took the stage at approximately 2:47 p.m. local time, the energy in the stadium was palpable. According to journalists present at the scene, the president appeared energized, even defiant. He spoke in a mixture of English and Tonga, deliberately code-switching to emphasize certain points to his predominantly southern province audience. His speech, which would eventually stretch to nearly 90 minutes, began conventionally enough, acknowledging local chiefs, thanking party officials, reflecting on recent development projects in the region. But then, approximately 20 minutes into his address, President Hichilema paused. He removed his suit jacket, loosened his tie, and leaned into the microphone with what witnesses described as an intensity we hadn't seen before. "My fellow Zambians," he declared, "what I'm about to share with you today is not just another speech. This is a covenant. This is a declaration. This is the blueprint for the Zambia we are going to build together, whether the opposition likes it or not." The crowd erupted. And that's when he unveiled it, the 5-point plan that has since dominated every news cycle, every social media platform, every dinner table conversation across Zambia. Direct evidence. Let me take you directly to the president's own words, because you need to hear this for yourself. Standing at that podium in Choma, President Hichilema declared, "Point number 1, agricultural transformation that will make Zambia the food basket not just of southern Africa, but of the entire continent. We are going to invest in mechanization. We're going to provide subsidies that actually reach the farmers, not the middlemen, not the corrupt officials, but the farmers themselves. We're talking about irrigation schemes that will turn our dry season into a planting season. We're talking about value addition. We're talking about exports. We are done being a nation that imports maize when God has blessed us with some of the most fertile land on this continent." The crowd roared. He continued, "Point number 2, infrastructure revolution. And I mean revolution. Every district, every single district in this country will have a tarred road connecting it to the provincial capital. We are going to fix the potholes that have become symbols of government failure. We're going to build bridges that don't collapse during rainy season. We're going to electrify every corner of this nation. Solar, hydro, whatever it takes. No more excuses. No more delays." He was gaining momentum now, his voice rising. Point number 3, youth empowerment and job creation. Our young people are not a burden. They are our greatest resource. We are going to create 1 million jobs over the next 3 years. 1 million. Through skills training, through supporting small businesses, through attracting investment. We're going to make sure every graduate has a pathway to employment. Every young entrepreneur has access to capital. We're done watching our brightest minds leave for South Africa, for the UK, for wherever. We're going to give them reasons to stay and build this country." The stadium was electric. People were on their feet. And then came perhaps the most controversial point. Point number 4, debt management and economic stabilization. Yes, we inherited a mess. Yes, the Patriotic Front left us drowning in debt. But we're not going to use that as an excuse forever. We are negotiating. We are restructuring. And I want to tell you today, mark my words, by the end of this term, Zambia will have a sustainable debt portfolio. We will have restored our credit rating. And we will have proven to the world that African nations can manage their economies responsibly. There was a brief pause as he took a sip of water. Then came the finale. And point number 5, and this is the one that's going to make some people very uncomfortable: uncompromising war on corruption. No sacred cows. I don't care what party you belong to. I don't care how powerful you think you are. If you steal from the Zambian people, we are coming for you. We've started. You've seen the arrests. You've seen the prosecutions. But that was just the beginning. We are going to recover every ngui, every kwacha, every dollar that was stolen from this nation. And we're going to make sure it goes back to schools, to hospitals, to roads, to the people who actually need it. The crowd went absolutely wild. Chants of HH. HH. HH echoed through the stadium. But then came a moment that has been replayed on social media thousands of times. A moment that has sparked intense debate. A supporter shouted from the crowd, "What about 2026, President? Are you running again?" President Hichilema smiled, that characteristic smile that his supporters find reassuring and his critics find evasive. He responded, "My friend, my brother. 2026 will take care of itself. Right now, I'm focused on delivering this plan. I'm focused on transforming this nation. When the time comes, the Zambian people will decide. But let me tell you this, whether I'm here or not, this plan will continue. Because it's not about Hakainde Hichilema. It's about Zambia. It's about our future. It's about making sure our children inherit a country they can be proud of." It was a non-answer. But it was delivered with such conviction that it almost didn't matter. Deeper analysis. So what do we make of this? What are the implications of this dramatic 5-point declaration? From a political perspective, the timing is everything. We are now well into 2026, an election year. While the official election date hasn't been announced, everyone knows it's coming. President Hichilema is facing mounting criticism from opposition parties, from civil society, from portions of the international community. The economic situation remains challenging. Inflation is still a concern for ordinary households. But Kwacha's stability remains fragile. This 5-point plan can be read as a direct response to those criticisms. It's a reset. It's an attempt to seize the narrative and project confidence and vision at a moment when his administration has been on the defensive. Jeffrey Bwalya Mwamba, the opposition UPND-turned-PF politician, wasted no time responding. In a statement released just hours after the Choma rally, GBM declared, "This is desperation dressed up as vision." Where was this 5-point plan in 2021? In 2022? In 2023? The Zambian people are not fools. We see through this. This is electioneering, pure and simple. And the tragedy is that while HH is making grand promises in Choma, people in Lusaka are struggling to find Mayalai meal. People in Copperbelt can't afford school fees. This is not leadership. This is politics. The Patriotic Front, through its spokesperson Emmanuel Mwamba, was even more scathing. President Hichilema has governed this country for almost 4 years, and suddenly, in an election year, he discovers he has a plan? Where was this plan when fuel prices were skyrocketing? Where was this plan when ZESCO was implementing load shedding? The Zambian people deserve better than last-minute political gimmicks. But it's not just opposition politicians raising questions. Some political analysts and economists are taking a more measured view, acknowledging that the 5-point plan contains elements of genuine policy ambition while questioning the feasibility and timing. Dr. Sishiwa, the prominent political analyst and historian, tweeted, "HH's Choma declaration is politically savvy, no question. But let's be clear, grand visions without implementation mechanisms are just words. Zambia doesn't need more promises. We need budgetary allocations, transparent procurement, accountability structures." Does this 5-point plan come with any of that? That's the test. From a legal and constitutional perspective, there are also questions. President Hichilema's hint about 2026, the vague suggestion that the Zambian people will decide, has sparked renewed debate about term limits, succession, and political continuity. Some UPND members have already begun floating the idea that if HH delivers on this 5-point plan, he deserves another term. Opposition members have countered that this is exactly how democratic backsliding begins, with a popular leader convincing people that the rules don't apply because he's special or indispensable. The business community has responded with cautious optimism. The Zambia Chamber of Commerce issued a statement welcoming the focus on infrastructure and economic stabilization, but noting that policy declarations must be matched with fiscal discipline and regulatory clarity. International observers are watching closely as well. The International Monetary Fund, which has been working with Zambia on debt restructuring, has not officially commented on the Choma declaration. But sources familiar with the IMF's thinking suggest that any major spending commitments, particularly around infrastructure and subsidies, will need to be carefully balanced against Zambia's debt sustainability framework. And then there's the question that haunts every political promise in Africa: implementation. Zambia has seen grand visions before. We've heard about transformation, about revolution, about new beginnings. From Kenneth Kanda's humanism to Frederick Chiluba's privatization drive to Michael Sata's more jobs, lower taxes, more money to Edgar Lungu's infrastructure push, Zambian leaders have never lacked for ambition. What they've often lacked is execution. So when President Hichilema stands in Choma and promises agricultural transformation, infrastructure revolution, youth empowerment, debt management, and anti-corruption crusades, the natural question is, how? With what resources? Using which institutions? Over what timeline? And who will hold him accountable if it doesn't happen? These are not rhetorical questions. They are the questions that will define Zambian politics over the coming months. Part 5, Closing. Well, viewers, there you have it. President Hakainde Hichilema's dramatic 5-point declaration from Choma, a moment that has captivated the nation and sparked fierce debate about vision, timing, and political strategy. Is this the blueprint that will finally transform Zambia into the prosperous, well-governed nation we've always dreamed of? Or is it a desperate electoral gambit from a leader who knows he's running out of time to deliver on his original promises? The answer, as always, will depend on what happens next. And we'll be here to cover every development, every twist, every turn. I want to thank you for watching another edition of InspirAfrica Official. This is the kind of story that demands your engagement, your perspective, your voice. So please, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe in HH's 5-point plan? Are you skeptical? What would you add? What would you challenge? Let's have that conversation. Let's engage honestly, respectfully, but fearlessly. We'll be back tomorrow with more stories, more analysis, more truth-telling from across the continent. Because at InspirAfrica, we don't just report the news, we inspire you to think critically about the news. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay inspired. This is Nakash, signing off. Go well.